guidelines to this. But the problem is, they don't have the manpower to operate this, where we have. As I mentioned, 3 times weekly, 2 hours per session, a total of 36 sessions, which goes on for 3 months. Now, as a pastor, as a Christian, if someone came to you 3 times a week, 2 hours a session, would you be able to share Christ with them and get them to the point of accepting? If 3 months is too short, then we have a problem. Why? It's because you cannot get commitment from them for a long term. Now, as a Christian, if you saw a stranger 3 times a week, 2 hours a day, I don't think that would be a problem in sharing God. Huh? That's the challenge here. If they register in your center and sign a document saying they will attend here until graduate of 36 sessions, then you have an opportunity. And that's what we did with the churches. We gave them the opportunity to minister. And they came out very well. Drug tested them. The surrendering paid for their own drug tests. You don't need to pay for that. They paid their own. And the only thing the churches did that was an investment for them is give merienda. So if you got 10 people, you give 10 cups of coffee and 10 pandesal. How much would that cost? Huh? I mean, you have meetings, right? You have church meeting, you guys eat something. It's very rare you'll have a church meeting and no merienda, right? But your evangelistic program, how much you spend on that? Huh? I'm sure you set aside something for evangelistic. Now, these guys are coming to you. You're not going out to evangelize them. The worst of the worst that society sees is now coming to your door, asking for help. Huh? So all you got to do is present God to them in such a way that you would win them over into your flocks. Huh? That's the goal. Win them over into your church. Bring them into a system that will keep them drug-free, sin-free, right? Because that's the goal of every pastor, is to reduce the sin amongst their members. How do you reduce sin? You teach them, right? What is sin? To him that knows to do good but doesn't do it, to him it is a sin. So in your preaching, you preach about sin, right? The fallen man. No joining other programs. In other words, if you had a center, and you had a center, a guy registers with you, he don't like what you say, he jumps to another center. It's not butterfly surrendering. Whatever center they register to, they must complete the program in that center. Okay? Now, I have soft copies I can give of this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? Not this presentation. Because that's my presentation. But I can give you the guidelines and things that, you know, my responsibility. If I open a training with you and you decide to open centers in your city, I will visit your center and help you. Okay? I will help you because every problematic addict has a unique background. As pastors, you know, it is not one size fits all. Your members are all unique. The addict, when he became an addict, he chose to go to a simple solution, like drugs, alcohol. But when society look at them, they say addict, shabu. That's not the problem. Hello? That's the symptom and the result of the problem. That's something that society can see. They can see the addiction at work. But they don't know what we know. We know that guy has a problem-solving situation. He don't know how to solve his problem with his wife, with his health, with his children, with his finances, with 1 million things in his plate. And that's what he's doing now, going to a shortcut, simple solution like alcohol and drugs. So when they come to you daily, you bring them into the power of God, the anointing of God, worship, prayer, understanding of the Word. And you know what? You're not expecting a facial change, meaning a reaction in their face. You're expecting a change of heart. And you cannot see the man's heart, but you can see his reactions later. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And that's a sign of a guy changing. When you see their heart, the abundance coming out. So I can tell you, if you want me to teach you about counseling, it's useless. Some of you, 20 years in the business. 30 years, that guy there, that pastor there. 30 years, pastor. Should I teach you about counseling? No. I should just teach you the type of people you are dealing with. When they break down that wall between you and them, and they begin to trust you because God's heart is coming out of you, and they see this, they will start to open up. And believe me, when they open up and confess some things, don't get afraid. But one thing I tell the pastors, do not lend money. We all need money. Do not put your valuables like you normally do in church. Okay? Not because they will steal it. You don't want to tempt them. They might be reforming, but just so happen today their electricity is due and your cell phone look like can pay for my electricity. They'll get it. So you must leave all your things of value away from their reach. I had only one incident in the 45 centers. And I warned all the pastors. And you know what happened? This one church in Tarlac, they had like 40 people. They're praising God. They're doing all kinds of things in their session. And one guy went to the desk and he got out their money for some evangelistic thing. Then when the other companions said, oh, that guy was there, they went to visit him in his house. He apologized, but he did not return the money. Yeah, he apologized. What do you do as a pastor? 5,000 receipts. And you know what happened? I told them, you call the police and you charge him. I said, you don't let people run over you like that. This is a government program. You don't just sweep it under the door and imagine it never happened. And she did. She charged him, and I don't know what happened after that. But something like that is very important because the others will feel. The other surrenderies, if they know that they can get away with it, they'll follow. You know. And I believe the anointing in the church is what breaks these habits these people have. those listed in the drug watch list, a lot of them were identified by their character. They may not have been using drugs, but they associated with drug users and pushers. And some of them even stopped using drugs, but because their barangay did not forget, they just went into like a witch hunt. You know a witch hunt? They just started listing people. And I found this out in many barangays where our centers are open. Of course, these guys lie, but some of them are honest enough. They say they did it many years ago, but the government still identified them. So what can you say, except just pray for them, encourage them, make sure they finish the program. Anyway, their name was placed. Usually they go on the barangay watch list if the police did not contact them first. Most of the time it's the police going to the house and contacting the person to report at the police station. And if they did not, because they were missed or not known, usually the barangay is the one to alert the police and the person. In their case, they're doing barangay clearances, right? They want to do barangay clearances. So any name associated with drugs, they will put the name on the list. So many of them have been identified, and most likely they're not using drugs anymore. But they cannot clear their name. That's the problem. So that gives us another opportunity to preach Christ to them. Get them all in, whether they use drugs, didn't use drugs, they stopped. They need God. If they're not a Christian, they need God, and that's your target. Minister to them. Once the government opens up and gives you the acknowledgement that they want you to do the program, that's an open door. God opened the door. Barangay, police, city, or municipal, they usually have a name there. Why I say city and municipal is because the DSWD and the DILG also got names. And what they do is they profile these guys. They end up going in and they get the status. Okay, you use drugs, how long? And they must describe how long they were drug users and how much you spent. And majority of them will lie. The only thing they'll tell the truth in is if they're married, they have children, they have employment, things like that, nothing to do with a drug addiction. They'll tell the truth. But when it comes down to how many years you used, when did you start, they will just give you a lie. They will not tell the truth. Okay? Here is their main concern. And this is what they need to gain back in society. They lost that. They lost all of that because of their reputation that everybody knows them by. Huh? You can do 1 million good things and then you do one wrong and they recognize you and remember you from that. Now in my case, they know me that I've been doing things like this for many, many years. The government certified me. The government did so many things. And now I've been getting many invitations. In fact, I'll be in Itogon on September 4. There's about 30 pastors there that want to do a training and open with your government. If your government, your local government unit, meaning the mayor, is willing to let you do a program there, I can visit you or send you some things you could use to open the program or prepare the program. In their case, 18 hours, I don't know if I can make it that far, but you invite me. Huh? You tell me how to get there. Is it drive or by boat?
Lean lang, lean.
By boat. 3 hours, but how about my car? It stays where somebody will watch it or? Oh, okay. Okay. There's nothing impossible. I'm willing to go. As long as everything is okay, you know. There's no problem with that. I have a passion for this, and I've seen it bear fruit, so I know. I really need to go there, wherever you are, and work out the details. Okay? Drug test. In Baguio City, we conducted the first drug test with them 39 days after their program started. I learned a lesson in Baguio. I only recommended one drug test in 3 months. It's not good. They need one drug test a month to verify that they are truly changing. This is in Manaldan, the first center I opened. We had a surprise drug test, and they're explaining to them. The drug test kit costs 50 pesos each. Where I get it, I have a supplier. He supplies the police in Pangasinan. It's a private medical pharmaceutical company, and I get it 50 pesos a kit, certified kits. And what happened, the police get involved and they give the drug test with the municipal health officer. Now, it is not legal for the police to charge anyone, because according to the law, that unless you are apprehended or arrested, the police cannot invoke a drug test on you. Okay? So when we're doing our program monthly test, the police is there for their documentation to show they're doing something in the form of the rehabilitation. So we help the police out. They see now that we are doing good work. They join in, they get pictures. They feel good, they submit it upward to their group, and it works out. We're all headed towards the same goal, is to change these guys' lives. Now, when you think about it, this guy, I tell you something about faith. One morning in my dawn watch with my pastor, I told him, "Oh, Pastor, I'm praying to God for more faith." And he said, "Be careful what you're asking." And I couldn't figure out what he meant. He said, "Be careful what you're asking." Because I really wanted to do things for God. And he said, "Be careful what you're asking." And then, here's 20 years later, I opened the program in Baguio. And I told one pastor, something about faith. And he told me, "Lemton, you know how you can increase your faith?" And I said, "What? What do you mean?" He said, "Faith comes by hearing." So when you want somebody to increase their faith, they need to hear more. This guy, cannot read. Well, in the session for 30 plus days, I would ask him, okay, now open you guys' Bible. They open their Bible. Find a certain scripture. And he's like, New Testament only. And he's going like, I know he passed Romans, because Romans is the first few books, four Gospels, and then, right? And he's like, and I looked at him and I said, okay, come on, you found the scripture? And he's like, ignoring me. I said, okay, read that. And he looked at me, he just went. And I thought that he was not cooperating. And I thought he just not interested. Then the pastora there, and the family went to visit this guy. Their mother owns a canteen, sells beer, food. And this guy, when he was high on drugs, he would beat some of the customers in his anger or whatever. And the police went to their visitation with the pastora and the other assistants. They went to his house because the police wanted a testimony of how they are changing. So they went to his home and they asked him questions and they told him to testify. And he didn't want. So his wife testified. And the wife started crying and said, my husband is getting the customer that he once beat up. And he took him to the back and he asked forgiveness. Yeah. So powerful. She's crying and they videoed that. And when I came to think about it, this guy cannot read. Huh? But every morning he's hearing the session, he's listening, he understands Tagalog or whatever the dialect they're saying. And he started coming out of his rudeness. You know, he's a big guy. And you know what? I was so amazed to hear this guy. They're taking their urinalysis, that's his urine. Instead of them being afraid, I got pictures of almost everyone that put their bottle. There were 20 bottles there. And the ones that took their test all smiled. They all passed. That was only after 1 month of the program. They all passed their test. This guy is about Barangay Kagawa. Where did Chris go? Chris. He has a video. I want him to play. This guy is a Barangay Kagawa. He never bought shabu. This guy. The pusher gave him drugs, and all he did was watch the house if anybody's. So the pusher would give him enough to be the guard, and he was the security. What they call that? No, in the barangay. Tano. He was a Tano. Yeah. Yes. And imagine the barangay police has authority. But he's like watching, okay, so and so coming, text. You know, and I asked him, I said, how do you get your shabu? You have no money, you know, it's not working. And he said, I just watch the house. And they give me my shabu. Simple. They all passed their drug test. They're all smiling. I let them take their kid home after they passed their test. In Baguio, We have 14 centers there. JIL, Jesus Reigns, Calvary Church, Calvary Baptist, the Assemblies of God, I think 3 or 4 churches from the Assembly of God. I have a list of them. I visit the centers. As I put in the inquirer, somebody they can identify with is one of the key factors. And that's important, that they understand. My wife also speaks when there's women there like that, and sometimes even no women, she talks to them about how to help in their marriage and different things. My wife had a hard time with me. Before Christian and after Christian. This guy just got 18 people in his second batch last week. Third. Oh yeah, third. He produced 2 batches. And he lives near the Lawakan, near the airport in Baguio. And he's, actually he was an unbeliever in this program. And God gave him people. In the training, in everything, he was like, it's only me. And he ended up ministering to them, him and one more person, 2 people. His first batch, I think, produced 7 or 8. Now he has 18. God gave it increase. Some of this is, well, here's got 7, I think. 1 buckle with the gold hair or colored hair. Here. I think it's colored hair. This guy, this is from the Calvary Church. This guy is the brother of the pastor. This is the pastor. This is the brother. He's a pastor. And he got on the watch list. He was actually smoking marijuana a while back. And then he came to Baguio to hide from his province where he was listed. And he decided to attend the program. He graduated. The guy next to him was an LDC manager. And he had a really good paying job. He retired. And he, in the process of his addiction, he was a very fruitful guy. He had 21 kids. 21 children from all different women. He has 2 children now. And I don't know if that's from his present wife or I never asked. They're young kids now. And when I discussed things with him in the session, and I said, what is your biggest failure that you had? And he said, my kids that I have don't even call him. They don't relate to him. And he said, that really hurts him now. And he said, his 2 kids now, he takes them to school. He picked them up, bring them home, and they all sleep in a big bedroom. He said he spends all of his time now appreciating his last 2 kids because the other 19 flew the nest and they don't care about contacting him anymore. Probably, well, different women, of course. So, in short, every addict has multiple problems, and drugs was their temporary solution. Not to solve their problem, but to get away from their problem. That's why it's so tempting when the addict wants to get high. It's to forget what the reality they are dealing with. Why should I deal with this when I can relax? And then they drink until they pass out. Then the next day, the problem not solved. So they drink again. Until one day they realized the electricity no go on. They never paid the electricity, they had no money. They drank whatever money they had. So these are things that they need to learn, you know, how to solve their problems the best way possible. And that's where your part comes in. It's actually not a drug problem, but it's a people problem. And that's what your calling is, right? You pastor people. And if I think we sit down, I can spend hours with you about your members' problems, and it's not ended. It will never end. Why? It's because they look up to you. They submit to their pastor. That's where if I have a problem overwhelming, I'll go to my pastor. Even at midnight, Pastor, can I call you? You text them. Well, some of you get midnight texts, huh? If it's an emergency. Oh, Pastor, my son didn't come home. Open the door. Let him in. He's out there sleeping. Some people got simple problems, you know. Oh, I don't know where my daughter is. Turn on your phone. They shut their phone because they're frustrated with the daughter. Open your phone and let them text you. Maybe they need help. You gotta go and meet them. You know, there are simple solutions, but some people get overwhelmed with that. And that's what the addict is. It's not an in-depth thing. This was well, one guy here has one leg. One guy here was amputee, and he was pushing drugs at the what you call that? Where the jeepneys and buses go? The terminal. He was announcing the rides and things. And he had one leg, so it's obvious they knew, oh, who is the pusher there? One leg. Not hard to find. Once the guy with one leg. So he was, you know, he was in the program, but he graduated and he went regularly. This Jesus Reigns, they have a good group there. In fact, the first graduate batch from their group is now the president of the PSUD, Person with Substance Use Disorder. He's the president of the city for that, the graduates. They're learning how to read, writing notes. You know, I'll tell you something about the addicts. Many of them don't use their brains. Meaning, they know when to eat, they know when to get high, they know when to yell at their wife, but as far as figuring things out, it's dormant, it's asleep. Now when they come in 3 times a week, they sit there. For the first week, they'll be there physically. They'll be sitting there. But if you try to communicate with them and get them involved, the chances are they will just nod their head or say very short sentences. That's the first week. By the time the second week come around, maybe the 4th session, you will get them talking. And you will not have to ask them to talk. They will volunteer involvement. And I teach the pastors not to get attendees there. Because pastors preach. It's a one-way thing, right? Every Sunday it's a one-way. You don't get reaction from your members during the service. In these sessions, you need to get reaction and participation. Because if you don't get participation, you never get any ground, any mileage with them because of the fact they did not participate. I'm sure you understand participation. It gets people involved and gets people to a new level. GIL is. This is the first day we opened there. They invited us. We went there. They grew. The same group grew from, I think, 12 or 14. It got up to like 26, 28 people. They fed them. How much it costs? One person. Coffee, merienda. Sometimes they bring pancit. What happened to us in Tarlac City, my wife and I went to one church there, and there were 3 surrenderies. One nephew and a couple married to somebody else. They were living together. And during the session, I saw them bring in plastic Coca-Cola, the 30 pesos, maybe 26 pesos, one bottle, a small one. They brought in bottles and palabo, the big tray, and only 3 of us, 3 staff and 3 of them, so 6 of us. And I told the pastor, "Oh, pastor, who paid for that?" He said, "Oh, the surrendering is the one who bought it." And I said, "Wow, we just got through talking to her, interviewing her. She has no job." Now, where did she get the money for all the heavy merienda, expensive? So I jokingly told the pastor on the way out, I said, "Make sure she's not selling shabu." And you know what? That following weekend, they arrested the guy for shabu, selling. And he was so heartbroken, the pastor, because he thought that, they're changing their life. That's why just following the training is not enough to open. Because things will come up that you might not recognize. For me, if somebody come in and they're not working, unemployed, yet they have nice cell phone, nice shoes, and you know what? When you're an addict, you're not working anymore. These things are the first to go. Because you're surviving. Now, pastors, you're trusting. Let's face it, you trust people. Especially if people come to your church, you're not going to accuse them. But for me, these are signs that you need to learn so you can become aware of what these guys are doing. They will not show you and you will not ask them because it's in your culture. Most of the people come to your church is looking for God, right? It's hardly few that can be tied up and brought in. But your family, unless they're a kid, come on, let's go to church, and they'll go. You did something wrong this past week, you need to go to church, come with me. That's what parents do. They want their kids to have the best relationship with God. But, in this case, the addict is really different. This guy, this is his family day. He has only 5 surrenderies. You see the room? That's his church. He invited the family. After these guys started going to his church, these guys here, they are the surrenderies. After the 2nd month, well, the 1st month, he started inviting them on Sunday. Why don't you come to church on Sunday? And they went. After a while, he made a family day on Saturday. They brought all their family. They enjoyed games, enjoyed fellowship, meeting each other. After that, he moved, the pastor. He came to a place little bigger, about this size. Because his church could no longer contain his regular members, which had about 20, I think. He had like 20 members. Now all of a sudden, God added 35 more people. It's not adding, but multiplying. That's why I said I have testimonies of churches that got people. And that was none, I cannot take credit for that. It's foolish to think anybody can take credit. It's God who gives the increase.
Amen.
And it's that pastor who was praying for them and sowing time with them and believing God that God will change the whole family. I want to encourage you. One guy can break down the walls of your church. If you catch the right guy, the right fish, he'll go out and evangelize all the addicts in your community. You never know. This one guy in Baguio is doing what I did at the beginning of my life, and I'm blessed. He's now taking a course, 2 of them, to become pastors in the Jesus Reigns. So that's a fruit that I never expected to see. I'm sure when you see a member of yours wanting to become a pastor now, that's a very high calling. You know, there's many things you have to give up to accept God's responsibility as a pastor. They even go out on outings. So if you can get the concept now, the addict needs a better life. In my sessions, I want to give him a better life. So you have to be creative. Not just give him the Bible and go head on, but give him something to open the doors of his heart and be able to reach him. I believe everybody in this room is creative. God gave us the creativity. We may not have the finances to do what we want to do, but you know what? God can provide that eventually. What God is interested in is what we can do with what little we have, what little people, to whom much is given, much will be required. So when we look at our goal, what is our goal when we get these people? We know they're being counted out at this point in time. Society is counting them out. Loser, addict, dead. But here we're talking about God, life, prosperity, fruit. So the exchange is much bigger, making them a Christian than letting them continue to wander even after they overcome the drugs. That's a JIL group. They took them to Camp Johnny. These are the churches in the first centers we opened. Max Faith, Christ Lives in Me Ministry, Jesus Our Shepherd, Jesus is Lord, Jesus Reigns, Calvary Ministries, Life in the Light, Assemblies of God, Irisa, Gospel of Christ, New Life Christian Center, what's that, Church of the Open Doors. Actually, there were about 22 churches at the beginning. But some did not get drug surrenderies. So eventually they decided to not continue. But these groups, they got second batches and were able to get others. These are the centers. Actually, this is the existing layout. This is in Bamban. These are the centers in Bamban right now. And this is Tarlac City. Tarlac City had the least, but they had the biggest number of graduates. They had 166 graduating. In Baguio right now, 116, something like that, in 2 graduations. Then in Bamban, there were 82 graduating. So, you know, when I say graduated, It's not counting their families that also came to a new lifestyle. Some churches had zero, because they had no, I guess God is the one to, give the increase. There's no answer for that. Some were in the biggest area of the drug addiction, and they did not receive one surrender. It's a mystery to me, but I just look at it, it's God. God is the one who will send you. This Baguio's graduation, all in one. We had a formal graduation with certificates that they use for their police clearances, their whatever government requirements. And they got certificates for that. This is in Bamban, all the white. The pastors all had a black t-shirt, the facilitators, and there were 82 here. Then this is Tarlac City, 166 graduated there. Now, I cannot get this program started in your place until you can arrange with your government first. Because if you cannot arrange with your government, you cannot get a clearance to operate. And my certification from Hawaii has enabled me to be certified here in a local project, meaning between the church, group of pastors, with the government, and with me as the consultant. So that's how it's been working. Baguio City has not paid me 1 centavo, the government. Tarlac City gave me gasoline. They owe me some honorarium that I never collected so far. Bamban Town gave me 2,000 pesos from time to time for my gas and fine. The police gave me. So they have money. The government has money. But to give it to the church is quite impossible, and it's not good for you to be engaged in a money-making program. Now, the question and the challenge here is how much it costs for one soul. How much? How much and how good is it when the government will bring that soul to your church? You don't need to go out. Those people graduating there, graduated. We did not have to visit them in their home and encourage them to come into the center to get well. The government sent them notices of invitation, and they ended up going to our session. Usually, in the 3 places, I had one big session, and I testified to them. So they can see, if God can change me, God can also change them. So they had to see something, some proof of some change. Because all of them in denial. They feel, nothing can help me. And then some of them feel, I'm good already, I'm okay. I'm not using drugs. So they don't know that God has a deeper solution for them. But these guys graduated. That's the mayor talking to them. 166 of them. This was 2 weeks ago, July 30. August 2. I'm sorry. This was August 2. 35 of them graduated in Baguio. During the graduation, Previous to this, the mayor told me, Lemton, I want you to bring these addicts in the public high school and let them talk to the students. And earlier you saw I did a lot of symposiums, testimony. And I told the mayor, okay, I will do that. I'll arrange it. Not knowing that I was committing myself with the mayor to visit 22 high schools, 30,000 students, and reach out to them. So the pastors involved here in the graduation and the centers, they started to come to terms with their new project. They registered in the SEC. Last week we got the SEC registration back with the number. We went to the mayor's office, we signed the MOA to now evangelize 22 high schools. So you can see now God had a better plan than just rehabilitation. It's evangelizing the whole city of Baguio legally. I say legally because they signed, they even printed us IDs. They paid for it. I held the training for drug prevention in the dead end office in their basketball auditorium under the dead end. They paid 88,000 pesos for the food and merienda and printing. Now talk about miracle. If the government open up to you the body of Christ, big blessings will be there. Answered prayers will be there. Changed lives and families will come to know who God is. We're just beginning there in Baguio. I go there like 2-3 times, 2-3 days a week. I spend there. And then to Carla. And then if anything will come out of this, I will also include you in my visit. Okay? Because I believe God has a plan. It's just a matter of how we approach this. I think this is almost done. Okay, this is the main course. The addict has no vision, no management, liars, thieves, they're abusive, they have family problems, adultery is marami. Many of them, they're living with their third mistress or even the ladies. They got kids from how many other guys? One of them just gave birth when we were doing the session. Jobless. Most of them are jobless. Well, not most. Many are jobless. Yet, some of them are functional addicts. Like, you're a pastor?
Yeah.
You went to work, right?
Time to time.
That's called functional. Many addicts, tricycle drivers, police, government officials, they are called functional addicts because they still can function. I was a functional addict. When they're dysfunctional, they're just at home getting high. They're not able to function anything. But look here, they had the fear of dying, fear of getting arrested. But way down at the bottom here, they had the willingness to change. Oh, I'll go if only it looks good enough. Now, how do you tell an addict it's good enough, except if it's in a gun? You go now. Oh, yes, sir. Huh? How do you attract an addict? I'll pay you $500 a day, you go through the program. They might go, but they won't learn anything. Huh? Now here comes our program. It's called an intense outpatient program. Outpatient because they're not living in. It's 3 times a week. 7 to 9 was the prescribed time I gave. But I found out from other pastors, they did it at a more convenient time for the surrendery and for them. Okay? 36 sessions. Christian-based drug rehab concept. After these, the next session will be a drug rehab concept. I will show you. I have a video, 5-minute video on that, and some insights. They become a new creation. That's your expectation. That they will not just be rehabilitated, but they will become a new creation in Christ, because that's what they need. Huh? You make sure they participate. They feel belonging to your activity and your group. Without these things, they will be a visitor only. Huh? That's one thing you don't want them to be, just a visitor. You want them to participate. You want to build a relationship with them. And most of all, you want them to give up their vices. I don't know if you have church members that smoke and drink. Well, not drink, get drunk. Okay, because there's a technicality there. The Bible says, drink a little wine for your stomach's sake, and everybody under the sun has their own interpretation. Pastors, churches, religion, they all have their own interpretation. So I don't go into that area. Okay? But giving up vices is very important. While they are there, learning about their addiction with trouble, you have to impress on their heart their addiction with tobacco and alcohol, womanizing, gambling, things that they never think of getting rid of because it's legal. It's not illegal. But we know with God what is sin. Legal. And many of these things is sinful. You got that, the second part? This is what your program should be doing. And then, this is where they should end up. They should be joining your church as a member. You should not be doing your program with other pastors. There should be no competition amongst you regarding the spoils, the harvest. It should be one pastor doing one group and one pastor in charge of that batch. It should not be divided out, because you want that person to be drawn to the church here. They should become a member of your church. Membership matters. When people ask your members, what church do you belong to? They will tell you who their pastor are. And because they feel they belong there. Now, if you're like Catholic Church, they go to any Catholic church. There is no commitment, no relationship. In this case, you're spending with them 3 times a week, 2 hours per session, for 36 sessions, 3 months. You expect to harvest. And that should be your goal. They were once lost. They need to belong somewhere. That's their maintenance. Your church member, if they don't come in for 1 week, one Sunday, they're not there. You know this. Most pastors know this. They know this. If a member is absent, even 2 times,